Bhadra or Bajaur is an agency of the federally administered tribal areas of Pakistan. Smallest of the agencies in FATA, it has a hilly terrain. According to the 1998 census, the population was 595,227, but other more recent estimates it has grown to 757,000. It borders Afghanistan's Kunar province with a 52 km border. The headquarters of the agency administration is located in the town of Kar. Bhadra is inhabited almost exclusively by Tarkani Pashtuns, and there are their main sub-tribes in Bhadra, Utmankheel, Tarkalanri, Mamand, as well as a small population of Saifish. The Utmankheel are at the southeast of Bhadra, while Mamand are at the southwest, and the Tarkani are at the north of Bhadra. Its border with Afghanistan's Kunar province makes it of strategic importance to Pakistan and the region. Geography. Bajaur is about 45 miles long by 20 miles broad, and lies at a high level to the east of the Kunar Valley, from which it is separated by a continuous line of rugged frontier hills, forming a barrier easily passable at one or 2 points. Across this barrier, the old road from Kabul to Pakistan ran before the Khyber Pass was adopted as the main route. To the south of Bajaur is the wild mountain district of the Momans. To the east, beyond the Panchkora River, are the hills of Swat, dominated by another Pashtun group. To the north is an intervening watershed between Bajaur and the small tehsil of Dir. It is over this watershed and through the valley of Dir that the new road from Malikan in the Punjab runs to Chitral. The drainage of Bajaur flows eastwards, starting from the eastern slopes of the dividing ridge, which overlooks the Kunar and terminating in the Panchkora River, so that the district lies on a slope tilting gradually downwards from the Kunar ridge to the Panchkora. Nawagai is the chief town of Bajaur, and the Khan of Nawagai was previously under British protection for the purpose of safeguarding of the Chitral Road. Jandal, one of the northern valleys of Bajaur, has ceased to be of political importance since the 19th century, when a previous chief, Umra Khan, failed to appropriate himself Bajaur, Dir, and a great part of the Kunar Valley. It was the active hostility between the Emir of Kabul and Umra Khan that led, firstly to the demarcation agreement of 1893, which fixed the boundary of Afghanistan in Kunar, and, secondly, to the invasion of Chitral by Umra Khan, and the siege of the Chitral fort in 1895. Major towns are Kar and Anayat Kili. An interesting feature in the topography is a mountain spur from the Kunar range, which, curving eastwards, culminates in the well-known peak of Koh-i-Noor, which is visible from the Peshawar Valley. It was here, at the foot of the mountain, that Alexander the Great founded the ancient city of Nysa and the Nysaean colony, traditionally said to have been founded by Dionysus. The Koh-i-Noor has been identified as the Maros of Aryan's history, the three-peaked mountain from which the god issued. History and events. The area was the site of the ancient Scythian kingdom of Aprikal from the 1st century BCE to the 1st century CE, and a stronghold of the Aspasioroi, a western branch of the Ashvakas of the Sanskrit texts who had earlier offered stubborn resistance to the Macedonian invader Alexander the Great in 326 BCE. Babur's attack on Bhadra in 1518. Babur had invested and conquered the fortress of Bhadra. The Gabarkot from Sultan Mir Hyder Ali Ghabari, the Jahangirian Sultan, and gone on to conquer Berar on the river Jhelum, a little beyond the Salt ranges. The Jahangiri dynasty had known chain of royal Tajik family who were the descendants of Cyrus the Great, Sultan Skandar Zulkarnain of the Akharmancha royal class of ancient Persia. The river Indus. These formed the traditional defensive frontier of India. Babur claimed these areas as his own, because they had been part of Timur's empire. Hence, picturing as our own the countries once occupied by the Turks, He ordered that there was to be no overrunning or plundering of the countryside. It may be noted that this applied to areas which did not offer resistance, because earlier, at Bhadra, where the Pashtun tribesmen had resisted, he had ordered a general massacre, with their women and children being made captive. Babur justifies this massacre by saying, the Bajrish were rebels and at enmity with the people of Islam, and as by heathenish and hostile customs prevailing in their midst, the very name of Islam was rooted out. As the Bajrish were rebels and inimical to the people of Islam, the men were subjected to a general massacre and their wives and children were made captive. At a guess, more than 3,000 men met their death. We entered the fort and inspected it. On the walls, in houses, streets and alleys, the dead lay, in what numbers. Those walking around had to jump over the corpses. Recent decades during the Soviet invasion in the 1980s, the area was a critical staging ground for Afghan and local mujahideen to organize and conduct raids. It still hosts a large population of Afghan refugees sympathetic to Gulbuddin Hekmatyar, a mujahideen leader ideologically close to the Arab militants. Today, the United States believes militants based in Bhadra launched frequent attacks on American and Afghan troops in Afghanistan. There have been some unconfirmed media reports about the possibility of Osama bin Laden finding refuge in the area. An aerial attack, executed by the United States targeting Ayman al-Zawahiri, took place in a village in Bajaur Agency on January 13, 2006. Killing 18 people. Al-Zawahiri was not found among the dead and the incident led to severe outrage in the area. On October 30, 2006, 80 people were killed in Bhadra when Pakistani forces attacked a religious school they said was being used as a militant training camp. There are many unconfirmed reports that the October attack was also carried out by the United States or NATO forces, but was claimed by Islamabad over fears of widespread protests similar to those after the U.S. bombing in January 2006. Maulana Liaquat, the head of the seminary, was killed in the attack. Liaquat was a senior leader of the pro-Taliban movement Tanzim Nifaz Shariat Mohammadi, that spearheaded a violent Islamic movement in Bhadra and the neighboring Malakand areas in 1994. The TNSM had led some 5,000 men from the Pakistani areas of Dir, Swat and Bhadra across the Mamand border into Afghanistan in October 2001, to fight US-led troops, in what is thought to be a reprisal for the October strike in Bhadra. In November, a suicide bomber killed dozens in an attack on an army training school in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. A military offensive by the military of Pakistan was launched in early August 2008 to retake the border crossing near the town of Loizam, 12 kilometers from Kar, from militants loyal to Tehrik-e-Taliban, the so-called Pakistani Taliban. In the 2 weeks following the initial battle, government forces pulled back to Kar and initiated aerial bombing and artillery barrages on presumed militant positions, which reportedly has all but depopulated Bhadra and parts of neighboring Momand Agency, with an estimated 300,000 fleeing their homes. The estimate of casualties ran into the hundreds. The offensive was launched in the wake of Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani's visit to Washington in late July, and is believed by some to be in response to U.S. demands that Pakistan prevent the FATA being used as a safe haven by insurgents fighting American and NATO troops in Afghanistan. However, the offensive was decided by the military, not the civilian government. The bloody bombing of Pakistan ordnance factories in War on August 21, 2008, came according to Maulvi Omar, a spokesman for the Pakistani Taliban, as a response to the Bhadra offensive. After 9 months of vigorous clashes between government security forces and Taliban, Military forces have finally claimed to have forced militants out of Bajaur Agency, and advanced towards strongholds of Taliban in the region. According to figures provided by the government of Pakistan, 1,600 militants were killed and more than 2,000 injured, while some 150 civilians also died and about 2,000 were injured in the fighting. The military operation forced more than 300,000 people to flee their homes and take shelter in IDP camps in settled districts of the province. To date, more than 180,000 IDPs have returned to their homes in Bajaur Agency, facing widespread destruction to their lives, livelihoods and massive unemployment. Nawabzada Shams ul-Wahab Khan, son of Nawab Abdul Subhan Khan, was killed by the Taliban in 2007. Chief of Mamand, Malik Shah Jahan, was killed by some unknown persons in 2008. He was not only the chief of Mamand tribals, but also one of the powerful personalities of FATA. In August 2012, the Pakistani army denotified Bhadra as conflict zone.